All righty, shalom, shalom, shalom. Happy Sabbath, happy Sabbath. I'm your host with the most, Commander Judea, also known as Teacher Judea, here at One Nation Israelite School. Welcome to the Sabbath class. We're going to get right into this thing. Sorry for all the technical difficulties today. If the program should happen to shut off in the midst of teaching, know that we are working sincerely to get the issues resolved. All right. So with that being said, how's my brethren and sisters and the Sabbath today?
Doing lovely, man.
Doing great.
All right, we back in here. Periscope. I know y'all like, dang, it's been a long time, but we back. All right. So let's get it on. Okay, for Periscope, just in case you don't know, we have been doing the works. All the classes that you have not seen are on the YouTube channel and also on One Nation Facebook. All right. We've been having some real difficulties with Periscope, freezing, buffering, all that type of stuff, videos cutting out. So we separated from the program for a minute. We are back. Lord's will, we can stay here because everybody knows at One Nation Israelite School, out of all the platforms, we love Periscope. That's right. All right, so let's get it in. So we're going to bring it back in like this. Today's class is entitled Darkness, Holy, Separate. Darkness, Holy, Separate. All right. Now we're going to touch this also important topic. And we're going to let the scriptures generate why this class is put together. All right. So with no further ado, let's get into the scripts. Let's dive into the scriptures before anything happens. All right. So let's pick it up with Romans 15:4. We'll start at Romans 15:4. The place is good as any.
Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
So the things that were written for our time, before our time, were written for our learning. Okay. So, all right. It says, whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So we dig into the scriptures to see the things that happened before time that we may learn from. In diving into them, we may have hope. When we see certain things happening, we get to worry and we get to wonder, and we see in the scriptures the things they're written to bring us comfort and hope that we may endure until the time of Christ and get into that kingdom. All right. So now we're going to dive into the scriptures and learn a little something today, and hopefully bring comfort in the position that we all walk in. All right. So let's start at Isaiah chapter 8. Isaiah chapter 8, and I want to start at verse Isaiah 8 in start at 17.
Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 17. and I will wait upon the Lord, that hideth his face from the house of Jacob, and I will look for him.
Right. Now that's us here. We're in a time of trouble, and the Most High is not looking at us. The Most High is hiding his face from the house of Jacob. But in that time, we still wait for the Most High. That's what we doing here. All right. Now here's the point. Next verse.
Behold, I and the children whom the Lord hath given me.
Read it again.
Behold, I and the children whom the Lord hath given me.
All right. So first thing he says, I, myself, and the children. Now, the children is also known as the sons of the prophet, aka my children, which you hear Isaiah said, I and the children. Now, Isaiah is calling his students, his family, his sons, his daughters, his mother, when he say the children, Isaiah is calling his family, his students, his students, his children. Said, I and the children who the Lord have given to me. So if I speak that from my term, I would say me and my children. Right now, he's calling his students family. He's calling his congregation family, because when you're in the truth, they are your family. When you are the elder of the congregation, they are your children, whom the Lord have given to you. Precept, who is my mother? Give me Matthew 12 and 48. For those who may not be too familiar with it, Matthew 12 and 48.
Matthew chapter 12 and verse 48. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother, and who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brethren. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. Right.
Those who are keeping the law, statutes, and commandments are family. And of course, we know through the scriptures, the Most High says he will give you mothers, the aged women as mothers, the younger women as sisters, the men, the elders as fathers, the younger men as brethren. So when Isaiah is calling them the children whom the Lord had given him, he's giving it to them straightforward, as in they are my children or they are my family. Okay, let's go back to Isaiah 8 and 18.
Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 18. Behold, I and the children whom the Lord hath given me are for signs.
So all of you who would be considered symbolically in the spiritual realm as the children that the Most High have given to me, y'all are my family. He said y'all would be for what?
For signs.
For signs
and for wonders.
Go ahead.
In Israel.
They will be for signs and wonders in Israel, meaning you will do miracles. You will do miracles. What type of miracles? You will rise up. You will wake up the lost sheep. You will prophesy against the beast. And all while being a light and a sign. You're going to rise up against the beast. You're going to prophesy against this wicked place called America. You're going to wake up lost sheep. You're going to bring the truth back to the world. You're going to do that while being a light. Meaning while you keeping God's law, statutes, and commandments, you are a light in the world. That's what every last one of y'all in here are. Lights to the world. Why would you need to be a light to the world? Get me Isaiah chapter, we'll finish this verse out and then go to 60 and 2. Somebody get Isaiah 60 and 2 on hold.
Behold, I and the children whom the Lord hath given me are for signs and for wonders in Israel, from the Lord of hosts, which dwelleth in Mount Zion.
All right. Now go to Isaiah 60 and 2. Now remember, I said you are going to perform miracles. That's the sign. What does a sign do?
Let you know it identifies.
It identifies something. You are going to wake up the lost sheep and show them who they are. You are going to prophesy against this beast that we live in, that beast Esau, in the land that he dwells in, which is America. And all that while being a sign and a light in the world. Now, why would you need to be a light inside of the world? Isaiah 60 and 2.
Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 2. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people.
It says darkness shall cover the earth and gross darkness shall cover the people. Now, when it says that in gross darkness shall cover the people, that's what? I mean, it's going to completely cover them. Think about your paycheck. The gross is what? The full amount before taxes, meaning nothing's taken out. So the Most High is saying that Isaiah was telling us that the earth is covered in darkness, and our people are covered in gross darkness, meaning it's completely darkness, it's complete wickedness. So if the world is covered in darkness and the people covered in gross darkness, now it makes sense why you are the light.
Right.
Why you have to be the light. Now it makes sense why we have to be the light. Because our people are covered in complete wickedness, darkness, without any deductions. Meaning there's nothing right in their spirit, nothing right about the way they live. And they completely covered in wickedness. Right? So watch this. But go ahead. But the Lord, finish that 16 too.
But the Lord shall rise upon thee.
But the Lord shall rise upon thee. When did the Lord rise upon thee? How do we know when the Lord rose upon us? Somebody get me 1 Peter's 2:9. 1 Peter's 2:9.
1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 9. 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation.
Ye are a chosen generation. So we were chosen from the beginning. Come on.
A royal priesthood.
We are all ordained to be priests. Come on.
And holy nation.
A holy nation. Come on.
A peculiar people.
Different. Strange. Go ahead.
That ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of
darkness. Who did what?
Who hath called you out of darkness?
Who have called you? Who have called you? Who have called you? The Most High and Christ have called you out of darkness. That's when he rose up upon thee. He called you out of darkness to do what?
Into his marvelous light.
And to his marvelous light. Now, what is the light? The law, statutes, and commandments. Thus saith who? Proverbs 6:23. We ain't got to get it. Go back to Isaiah 60:2.
Isaiah chapter 16 verse 2. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall rise upon thee.
He shall rise upon thee. When did he rise upon thee? When he called you out of darkness. Remember, give me St. John 12:46. We're going to come back to Isaiah just to finish it out.
St. John chapter 12 and verse 46. St. John chapter 12 and verse 46. I am come a light into the world, that whosoever believeth on me should not abide in darkness.
I have come a light to the world. Read it again, Salakia.
I am come a light into the world.
Go ahead.
That whosoever believeth on me should not abide in darkness.
So you accepted Christ, you believe Christ. Not only did you believe, but you didn't walk in. You no longer walk in darkness. The proof that you believe is the fact that you do what? Right. What does it mean to believe?
These laws and commandments.
Thus saith, precept. The one I'm looking for is in the Apocrypha. Sirach 32. Go ahead. It's on your tongue. Go ahead. Bingo. Sirach 32 and 24. Somebody read that. Grab it real quick.
Sirach chapter 32 and 24. He that believeth in the Lord taketh heed to the commandment, and he that trusteth in him shall fare never the worse.
Right. So he that believeth in the Lord taketh heed to the commandments. So when Christ said, I come into the world to be a light, so for he that believe shall not walk in darkness, right? Okay. So with that being said, the fact that how do you know that you believe? Because you keep the commandments. See, Christians try to make belief this mythical thing where it's just a feeling, and I can say I believe, but ain't no actions to prove you believe.
Right.
Most I say keep the commandments. If you keep the commandments, that's how you prove that you believe. So guess what? When the Lord rose upon thee, when he called you out of darkness, how did he call you out of darkness? He came to the world first to be a light.
Right.
Now, that light in the midst of darkness, what the hell is that going to do for you? You got to think about it like this. I want to take it literal. If it's pitch black, what that light going to do?
It's going to shine.
It's going to shine. And it's going to what? Right. You're going to be able to see. You have a direction to walk now. If you can't see way down the road, you can at least see what's right in front of you.
Right.
All right. So watch this. Finish out Isaiah 6. As a fact, just drop it. Just drop it. It says, you shall, when and the glory of God came upon you. When he called you out of darkness.
Mm-hmm.
It says, so when you're being a light in the midst of darkness, what happens again? It gives you some type of a visual.
Yeah.
Our people are covered in gross darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Finish Isaiah 16:2. I'm sorry, Salakia. Finish that. It's a piece that I need.
Isaiah chapter 16, verse 2. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall rise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee.
And his glory shall be seen upon thee. Why? Because when you are being the light in the midst of the world, Matthew 5:16, real quick.
Matthew chapter 5 and verse 16. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 16.
He said his glory shall be seen upon thee, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, watch this.
Let your light shine so before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven.
When you letting your light shine, what is a light in the midst of darkness? A guide, direction, a cautionary device or tool, and what else? A sign that will avoid what? Injury and keep you from getting lost. That's what you are to the people. Right. You're understand this. For me, my position is to be a light to who? Us in here. Also in the world, of course. So if I'm the light, you're following me as I'm following the light that came to the earth that we wouldn't have to walk in darkness. I follow Christ. You following me. You go out in the world while keeping the commandments. You're being a light to the people out there that are already lost, right? Now, first of all, remember this, just to close out Isaiah 60:2 part. It says that his glory shall be seen upon thee. Then we come to Matthew 5:16, where it says, let your light shine before men, that they may see it and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Mm-hmm. When you let your light shine, the light is what again? Laws and commandments, right? So if the laws is the law, statutes, and commandments, you letting that shine, men seeing it, now they want to follow you. Who's that giving glory to? Y'all see the connection there? Mm-hmm. Okay, so now I go and I'm walking as the light. You're following me, and as you following me, you're keeping the light. All right, so let's do it. I'm gonna break it down like this. It goes the light is a cautionary device, a sign to avoid injury that may keep you from getting lost. Now, that's what you are to the people. Your light is what? The Bible, God's laws, statutes, and commandments. And for myself, my light is the law, statutes, and commandments. They direct me. I walk in them. I teach them. I learn them. I teach them, right? Now you following me as a light. What do? You learn them. You go out and you teach them while also doing them. Then the people see you doing them, and by their vicarious nature sees something different and wonder, why are you different? Why are you living the way that you do? Why do you do the things that you do? And you'll tell them. You'll tell them why you're doing the things that you do. Precept. Somebody's going to come and ask you why you live the way you live. Why do you do the things you do? And you'll tell them. Why will you tell them? Your precept. Let's go to 1 Peter 3:15.
First Peter chapter 3 and verse 15. First Peter chapter 3 and verse 15. But sanctify the Lord God in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear.
Read that part again.
But sanctify the Lord God in your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer.
And do what?
And be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear.
The scriptures say, always be ready to give an answer when somebody asks you your reason and your hope of the faith. People are going to ask you, why do you live the way that you live? Because you know what's going to happen? You're going to, once again, you are a light. You're going to go out in the midst of this darkness in the world, amidst the people that are covered in gross darkness. You learn the commandments, laws, statutes, and commandments here. You apply them, and then you go out and you teach them, and also while you're walking in it. And for those who you're not directly teaching, they'll see the way that you walk, and they'll ask out of curiosity and wonder why you live the way that you live. Why? Because you're going to be unusual. People don't realize, people don't notice things that's usual. They always say that's unusual. So they notice what's unusual. And keeping God's commandments will make you unusual. So they are going to ask you then, why do you live the way that you live? Why do you do the things that you do? And the scriptures say, be ready to give an answer. And you know what you'll do? Because you learn here, you'll answer them. And you'll explain your walk. You'll explain your faith. Why you have on fringes. Why you don't wear pants for the women. Why you don't celebrate Christmas. Why we don't celebrate birthdays. Why you no longer smoke weed, party with hoes, lay up with boyfriends, etc. You will explain to them why you live that way. And they'll follow.
Right.
And they will follow. But there must be something different about you first. Why? Because people do not notice what's usual.
Right.
They notice the unusual. They notice the unusual. And keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments will make you unusual. So now let's go to Leviticus 20 and 26.
Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 26. Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 26. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have served you from other people.
Right, because this is what you got to understand. Being unusual is going to make you separate from them. Keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments is going to make you unusual. Why? Because it's going to make you holy. And holy means separate. Precept, Leviticus 20 and 26 again.
And ye shall be holy unto me.
Ye shall be holy unto me.
For I, the Lord, am holy.
Go ahead.
And have severed you from other people.
And he have severed you from other people. What does it mean, severed you from other people?
Severed.
He's separated you from other people. You'll be separate from every other person on the face of the earth, every other nation. You'll be separate from the ways of the world. You will be separate from the ways of the world, which is the only way to walk if you're going to walk in this truth. You got to be separate from the world. Something about you has to be different.
Right.
And that something is goddamn everything. Everything about you has got to be different from the people in the world.
Right.
They have to wonder why you live the way you live. Prime example. The Christians say they love God.
Right. Right.
You goddamn right they love God. They falling all over the place. They fill the church up every damn Sunday. Ain't learning nothing. Lady went up there act like she got the Holy Ghost, fell back, hit her head on the balcony, got up and walked back crying to her damn chair, and everybody said, "Oh, she got the spirit." You're right. They love you. Right? They love God. They don't, but their life outside of the church doesn't reflect they love God.
Right.
You tell a Christian right now that you ain't supposed to eat pork, and it'll turn into a World War III.
Calling you all out your name, your mama, everything.
I can't even put on one hand how many times a pastor wanted to fight me because I read scriptures.
Right.
So they tell you they love God, but their life don't reflect it. So just like so you got to think about it. Take that into just think about that. The drug dealer say he loved God.
Right.
He put the Bible on his, he put Bible verses on his chest, put the praying hands on his arm.
Right.
Put every dope dealer got a cross on him somewhere.
You damn right.
They say they love God. You got damn right they do.
There's a chain or a tattoo.
Right. I want y'all to follow the trend I'm giving you. Everybody say they love God. The Christians say they love God. Don't do one thing you say. The dope dealer, wear the crosses and everything else, say he love God.
Right.
The homosexual says he loves God. Now, what the hell is going to make you different from every last one of them? Because everybody else, if you listen to them, a lot of them say they don't read the Bible because church is fake.
Right.
So what's going to be different about the way that you love God versus the way they say they do?
Doing what he say doing, keeping his laws and commandments.
Everything has got to be different.
Right.
Your lifestyle, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you conduct yourself, and your daily life, your deeds. All of that stuff has got to be different. Hence, making you what? Different from them, meaning you must be separated. That's why we can say, nah, we ain't with them, because we separate. Watch this. So now that we know that we're supposed to be separate, the only way for you to stand out and be different is to not be what? A part of the world.
Right.
Not be in darkness. Not be like them. Get a couple of scriptures and get up out of here about this. Let's start off Romans 12:2.
Romans chapter 12 and verse 2. Romans chapter 12 and verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
All right, read it again.
And be not conformed to this world.
Be not conformed to this world. Don't be similar to this world. You know, because the word conform means to be similar, a match to obey. All those things. Be not conformed to be not similar to this world. Don't follow this world. Don't obey this world. Why? Why shouldn't we obey this world? You wanna know why? Why shouldn't we obey this world?
And it's against the Most High.
1 John 2:16. Do not obey this world. Why? 1 John 2:16. Yeah.
1 John chapter 2 and verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever.
All right. Read that again. Let's break that down. It's a lot of meat and potatoes in there.
All right.
So it said, obey not the world. Why? Read that again.
All right. Verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes.
So all that's in the world is the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes. Now, the love of the flesh. We do know that if you get caught up following the flesh, you are in the midst of all type of sin, because the flesh battleth against what?
The spirit.
The spirit. And the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. The flesh will suffice to anything that will suppress its wants and needs.
Right.
The flesh will lead you to be a whoremonger, a party hopper, I got some more colorful words I want to say, but I'm gonna hold them. All right, read on.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes.
The lust of the eyes, covetousness. Why? Because most of the things that you want, that your spirit, flesh, your fleshly state fiends for, starts where?
Mind and with the eyes.
Before it get to the mind, how I get there.
Right here.
That's why they say the eyes are the window to the soul. Because the first thing you see, you don't want something like you ever. I'm gonna give you a clear example, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. You ever be chilling and weed ain't even on your mind until you see somebody smoking it? You ever be walking, your mind be on something completely different until that girl walk by and the bottom of her ass cheeks hanging out them shorts? You ain't even thinking about no damn woman, but as soon as she walk by, ooh, Lord have mercy. You know what I'm saying? So the eyes is where it all starts. A lot of people don't be thinking about certain things until they see it. You weren't thinking about robbing that man for his chain till you saw it. Your eyes, the lust of your eyes saw that thing, and now you covered in it, and then the flesh does what? Give in and go do whatever it take to get whatever you just saw. Read it from the top.
Verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world.
And the pride of life is not of the Father, but what?
Is of the world.
Understand this. You know how many people put themselves in bad damn positions on a monthly basis, going out to get stuff they don't even need, but because they saw it, they gotta have it.
Yeah.
You know how many people are gluttons like that?
Yeah.
You ain't even hungry, but because you see the food, you gotta eat it.
Right.
So now you're gluttoning yourself out.
Right.
All of that's not of the Father, but is of the world. Read on about the world.
And the world passeth away.
And the world gonna pass away. So guess what's going to happen to you who follow and obey the ways of the world? You're gonna pass away. Go ahead.
And the lust thereof.
Go on ahead.
But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever.
But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever. Meaning you ain't get swept up in darkness. And guess what? You are completely holy, meaning you're separate from the ways of the world. But yet you are the light to the world. Meaning everybody else is doing one thing. Like I said, the Christians say they love God. So do the drug dealer, the robber, and the murderer. They all say they love God. But you got to be different. It's got to be different. Something different about the way that you say you love God to make people ask, why you live that way? Because I can guarantee you, if you look like you fit in with the rest of society, ain't nobody going to question what you hell, as far as they know, you a Christian too. Why you think people ask sometimes, are y'all Muslims? Because you walk different from Sunday churchgoers. They see that sister, she got the head wrap and the dress on. You Muslim? No, I'm not a Muslim. You see these fringes? I'm an Israelite. Israelite? What kind of light? Remember that? What kind of light? Then you got to explain your faith. And then people watch, and believe me, put it like this. It's some people you're going to talk to, right? And they ain't going to come in right away. But after you talk to them, they'll start watching to see if there's any sin in you that they could point out. Because if so, then they'll say, see, they just like everybody else. Right. But if they watch you long enough and they can't get nothing on you, eventually they'll come in and see what I want to see what y'all talking about in there. Right. I want to see what's going on in that building. Right. Ooh, y'all, you remember what the lady say? Ooh, y'all got them kids, y'all out there in them tents. That is cool. Yeah. Yeah, sister, it's tabernacles. Right. Who? Tabernacles. Like the church? No, baby. This is what God said to do. We doing the real deal Holyfield over here. We drawing attention. And drawing that attention, you know what that drawing that attention gonna do is gonna bring glory to the Father. All right. So now go back to verse 15 on there. Let's read verse 15. St. John. All right, you done. No, it's 1 John, ain't it? Yeah, 1 John 2 and 15.
1 John chapter 2 and verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world.
Why is it telling you not to love the world? Neither things that are in it.
You love the world, you're an enemy with the Most High.
You're gonna be an enemy with the Most High, right? Now, I'm gonna show you something else. Another reason why you can't love the world, which all of us have read this scripture before, but we just never meshed the two together. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. Why? Matthew 6:24.
Matthew chapter 6 and verse 24. Matthew chapter 6 and verse 24. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other.
Oh, so if you love the world, what you gonna do with the other? You're gonna hate the Most High. That's why you hear brothers asking questions like, don't you feel like the Bible is keeping you in captivity? Right. You wanna know why? Because he loved the goddamn world.
Right.
So therefore, because he loved the world, he hate the Bible. He hate laws, statutes, and commandments. I'm gonna tell you that just by black folks, period. God damn it, we hate order.
Yeah.
That's why you see a lot of people cannot last in the Israelite school. They tell you don't. A lot of people are against Israelite schools now. Why? Because there's order in there. Why? Because everybody got to walk one way.
Yeah.
Everybody got to walk. You not higher than the rules. You know what I'm saying? If this gets somebody else, if you do something here and that makes Solomon stand in front of the door, guess what it's gonna do when you do it? It's gonna make you stand in front of the door. I'm gonna read you your rights. And if that made y'all stand in front of the door, then what should it do for me? I got to stand in front of the door. And I get to throw mean words at you. Oh Lord, I get a joy out of it. I get to throw mean words. You want to know why? Because when I get up there, you're probably gonna throw cups full of water at me. so and it'll be well deserved. Why? Because I ought to know better. So read that again. 6:24.
Matthew chapter 6 and verse 24. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to one and despise the other.
Right. That's what that brother was telling you in so many words. He loved the world, so he hate the Most High. He hates the Bible. And he holds the world near and dear. I get to go out Friday nights. I get to hang with this woman when I want to, smoke this blunt. You know what? Niggas hate marriage.
Yeah.
They hate the fact that they got to be committed to one damn woman.
Yeah, that's true.
And I ain't saying, Salakia, let me reframe that, because for the brothers who do have their little things together where they can debate you hard about having a multiple wives, some of y'all still whoremongers. You know what I'm saying? You know damn well you ain't marrying all these women. You just knocking them down when you get bored. But anywho, let me keep it to the subject. A lot of men hate commitment. They hate that the Most High got laws, statutes, and commandments set up on how you're supposed to deal with that goddamn woman. And in the same time, we got women that hate the order that the Most High set for them, how they supposed to deal with the man. I still women today still walk around here to my black man ain't shit. I told this one sister, y'all know I always gotta give you a little piece. The one sister got mad at me. I said, for men not to be shit, you show them got a lot of kids. For all you women who keep saying men ain't shit, y'all damn sure stay pregnant.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But let's go back. Let's read that in John again, 2:15. So women, so it's like I said, women. So the point is, love not the world. Why? Because if you love the world, the scriptures tell you no man can serve two masters. You're gonna love one and hate the other. So he hate the Bible because he loves the world. Now read that again.
1 John chapter 2 and verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
All right. Get me Matthew 7 and 13.
Matthew chapter 7 and verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate.
Enter ye in at the straight gate. Now that straight gate is a lot different from the other gate. Come on. Because the straight gate means a strict gate. Go ahead.
For wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go into thereat.
Right. The people are covered in gross darkness. The rest of the world, you know, this Bible verse right here lets you know what? That if you doing something and you look around and you see a lot of people doing it, most times, 9 times out of 10, you in the midst of what?
Yeah.
You're in the midst of sin. If you doing something and you look around and see that everybody in the world does that same thing, or everybody's doing it, and let's not be simple, you look around and you see people that you know ain't keeping these Bible, ain't walking as an Israelite. You see them doing the same thing as you do. 9 times out of 10, you in the midst of sin. Why? Because what? Read that again.
Enter ye at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. And many there be which go in thereat.
Many go in through the ways of destruction. The ways of the world is destruction. Go ahead.
Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way.
Straight is the gate, and narrow is the way. Straight means strictly. You walking through a strict gate. You on a tightrope, remember? There's a great city, and one side is fire, the other side is water, and it's only one way between them both. That's straight down the middle. You walking on a tightrope. You walk on a strict path, which is God's laws, statutes, and commandments. And that gate, the entrance into that gate is narrow. How narrow? So narrow that only one could pass through at a what? Only one could pass through at a time. Read.
Which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it.
And few that be that find it. Once again, I told you, one of the first signs that let you know that you are special is the fact that you still here in One Nation. Why? Because you've seen it for yourself. Many cannot do what here? They cannot last. Why? Because we get on ass for sin. It is a lot of people don't have that order, that structure, that discipline to be able to take that correction when you out of order. They be, I'm grown. You don't talk to me. Yes. Walk your grown ass on out the door and go back to the world. And in a couple of years, when you find yourself smoked out, sexed out, and everything else, you'll know that you were sitting in front of a prophet. You'll know that you were sitting somewhere. You were sitting where you're supposed to be ordained. You know what? You'll see that, dang, my brothers, they may not say words that make you feel good. You motherfuckers tell the truth. It's blood raw, but it's real. Mm-hmm. We have our little disagreements, get mad at each other, have our little, like we can go talk for a day or two. I'm calling. I'm going to call. You answer the phone. Shalom. Hit in his voice. Yeah, he's still mad. What's up? That's how we rock here. Why? Because I wouldn't trade you. I wouldn't leave y'all. The question is, what will cause you to leave me? Okay? If it ain't a treacherous wound, let's keep it 1,000 here. The love is supposed to be 100. All right, anyways, I don't want to get too distracted now, but narrow is the way, and guess what? Not many gonna find it.
Yeah.
You know what the scripture said? You're gonna have people that's gonna do what? Because we are so firm on the doctrine here and the laws of the Most High commandments, people are going to leave here to find what? People that'll do what?
I guess they is.
They're gonna take that's what we call it again?
The itching ear doctrine.
The itching ear doctrine, meaning they're going to go places where the doctrine will be taught for their comfort. It's gonna scratch that itch. I want to do this, but they won't let me do it. Why? That's just what they believe. Mm-hmm. That's what we believe. If we say something, ask why we saying it. We'll pull the Bible gladly and show you. Right. Nah, it's on you if you want to accept it or not. Scriptures say prove all things. Well, we got the scriptures. Hate from a distance because we got scripts.
Right. But they too.
So right now, what are we doing? We touching scriptures to show that why you need to be separate. Mm-hmm. How the world is in darkness and you separate. Go to Ephesians 2:10. We almost out of here. And we're gonna get out of here after this. What we looking like over there? Cool. We almost out of here. Ephesians 2:10.
Ephesians chapter 2 and verse 10. For we are his workmanship.
We are his workmanship. Come on, go ahead.
Created in Christ.
Created in Christ. Come on.
Unto good works.
Let's get it.
Which God hath before ordained that we should walk in them. Before
I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee and ordained thee to be a prophet. So guess what? You are the workmanship. Most High has hired you to the laborers to do this job. And he gave you an employee handbook that you must walk in to get the job fulfilled. And guess what? You can't be fearful to do the job. You can't be fearful to do the job, and you can't add to the damn handbook. People get fired like that. All right. So he gave you the tools to get the job done. You got to walk a certain walk, getting the job done. And walking in that walk and the rules and the guides in this handbook is going to separate you from the world. It's going to make you different. Last script, 1 Peter 1 and 16. Because with all being said, when we touched this, we talked about the people being in darkness, you being a light to them, and being separate from the other people that they think they following, or the ways of the world which they follow. So you are to be separate. 1 Peter 1 and 16, last script.
1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 16. 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 16. Because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy.
Read it again.
Because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy.
One more time.
Because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy.
To be holy means what?
To be separate.
To be separate. That's what holy means. And we know holy is also what? What is holy?
Keeping the laws and commandments.
Laws, statutes, and commandments, thus saith Romans 7 and 12.
Yeah.
So it says, be holy. Be holy, because I am holy. The Lord is holy and separate, and he wants you to be holy and separate. Pray the class was edifying to you all. We're going to get on up out of here. Once again, your host with the most, Commander Judea, Teacher Judea here at One Nation Israelite School. And with that, we're going to say shalom. Shalom.
Basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Shalom.
Shalom.